right. So what's up, people? Hey, Miss Beamer. I'm on Instagram and I am on my YouTube channel as well. Let me save this. What's up, family? As promised, the Naked Empress is back. No makeup, naked. Naked under here. But as promised, the Naked Empress is back for 2024, and it is the last day of Black History Month. I don't need to see all that. And I wanted to make sure that I came on before and kept my promise to myself, staying on task, driven. Happy 2024, because I was not on the live in the beginning in January, but happy 2024. The Naked Empress is back with the good, the bad, the ugly of in the naked truth about coming up in this on my rise to Caribbean entertainment world domination. And I'm not going to say soca music. I'm not going to say anything like that because it's going to be more than just soca music. So I do a lot. And you'll get to know me this year, once a month. Tune into the Naked Empress. So it's a lot of things that's been going on since the beginning of the year, but more specifically, Trinidad Carnival. Everybody has been talking about Trinidad Carnival. Everyone has been talking about influencers. Um, Everyone has been talking about the loss of the culture within Carnival that is becoming commercialized. And I know that's been the buzz topic. Um, yeah, for the last few weeks since Trinidad Carnival has ended, that's been the buzz topic. So I thought about talking about that, and it's funny because I wanted to talk about influencers in the soca industry, in the carnival Caribbean carnival industry, and so forth. In the aspect from an artist, a lot of times as up in, I hate that word, as an artist that may not be as well known as some of the top 10, because unfortunately in soca, the reason why we're not as far as we are in the industry is because people only see 10 people, and then the world just thinks that we're small because we only promote 10 people. Food for thought. But uh in this whole soca world, we do these different things, and I got a little off track with my little side note, but on this journey, we put in our effort and our money as an artist. We pay for studio. We put the time in to write music, or for those who don't write, I'm a writer, but for those who don't write, you have to pay someone to write. Like, you invest a lot of money in it, and then as you're coming up, you feel like you're begging to get on a stage, or you have to perform for free to prove yourself because you're not one of the top 10 names. So, it's a little disheartening when you have influencers that are not, other than contributing content. And that's no shade to any. There are some content creators that I absolutely love, and I'm gonna say absolutely love because that's one of my content creators saying, "Big up Red TV." Um, and I absolutely enjoy the commentary of Blackie, and I understand utilizing them in that aspect. Another great influencer I love because they their content is more to what I'm passionate about, and that's educating about the Caribbean culture. Big up Know Your Caribbean. So if you have these people that are putting out content, and maybe there's a difference between content creator and influencer, but if you have these people that are constantly putting out content that's promoting a certain thing, and a promoter uh, books them to come to their event, that's one thing. But when you lowball and, you know, treat artists like they're nobody until till somebody decides that their song has bust and they've blown up, and then you're willing to pay them, that's ridiculous, because we're the reasons why People have anything to influence. Whether our song is big now or it becomes big later, you never know. We have a fan base that you may not know about. So it's kind of disheartening for promoters to lowball and mistreat artists as they're coming up. And they're willing to fly out and give costumes and pay for VIP sections and all of that stuff for influencers just for them to put that they're going to an event. And that's no guarantee that people are going to come. Just like it's no guarantee that if you put an artist on a flyer or an event that it's going to sell out. And I'm not talking that from an artist perspective. I'm also a promoter. So I'm talking from experience and not just soca, because I've been promoting way before I even became an artist. So that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, I was going to talk about all of that, but I'm not. And I'm not going to talk long because this year, the Naked Empress is not going to be long. And hopefully I can edit this YouTube clip too because yeah, I want to cut it down. I'm going to keep it at 10 minutes. We're going to keep it sweet and brief. And then I'm going to read comments and come back and do a response. And I'll probably edit that video and have you respond. So big up everybody that came on and joined. And I'll have questions. So when I post it, you can put your questions. So the real topic of today is going to be a controversial one. And y'all know me, I'm the boss, bad gal soca, and I'm bad gal soca not only because I can, you know, my slackness, but I'm also bad because I say the things that people sometimes are scared to say, and I have my opinions, and I ain't afraid of nobody. So anyway, and I'm also boss because I'm about my boss business, not just music. And we'll talk about that as you get to know me throughout the months. But other than that, so the controversial topic that we're going to talk about today is those persons who are not melanated, who are not of, I'll just say not melanated because I can't even say of Caribbean descent because they are colonizers that have a long history of living in the Caribbean, and they have children that have been born there because they've been there for generations. So I'll just say non-melanated people, is it blackface if they play jab? This question came up as I was talking to one of my good Grenadian friends who was a little taken back by, going home and, seeing Caucasian people playing jab and knowing the history of playing jab. Good afternoon, my love. Intense Fire Fitness in the building. 2024, we have to do it, run it back again and do a collab. Off topic, sorry. But today's question, and you all can comment now or when I post, do you feel some type of way about Caucasian or non-melanated people playing jab, knowing the history of it? Do you know the history of why we play jab or juve? When do we cross the line with having traditional celebrations and having people appropriated and disrespected? Because if the essence of juve and jab was a celebration of the slaves being and their freedom and mocking the slave masters for, you know, their black skin being sin, and all of the things that our ancestors represent through that, and putting the molasses on and putting the oil on to represent being black and from Africa and all of those things, and to represent oppression and all of those good things that juve and jab jab represent. And like I said, I'm keeping Naked Empress short and sweet this year, but we'll go into further details of, the historical aspect of it. But the historical essence of that part of carnival has to do with our freedom, has to do with our ancestors, has to do with with slavery. So is it blackface if they play in jab, because in American history, white people covered in black to pretend to be black people and act ignorant and so forth. So how could a non-melanated person who that's not their lineage put on the oil, put on the molasses, and express that the pain and suffering of their ancestors through jab? That's I'm sorry that the first Naked Empress is deep. Let me see. I shot said, older not teaching the young, so the young learn how they learn. And now it's just about money and fame. Absolutely. I agree. Big up Ice Shot, one of the best videographers in and I don't even want to limit you to the Caribbean, but I know you through soca music, but you're just a videographer. My other videographer is Cordell Visuals, but I shot also has done some of the best videos that if you follow soca music, you've seen his work. Um, yeah, so you're absolutely right. And it is my mission that we continue to teach the history. That is why I have symposiums. I collaborate with other educators to educate on the Caribbean culture. Everything that I do is about teaching and spreading the culture without it being appropriated and not just appropriated but raped. Because a lot of people make money off of our culture and it doesn't go back into our community. I was just having a conversation about I'm here in the DMV for anyone who's watching or don't know where I am. And there's a local wine festival that's supposedly Caribbean, but it's not run by Caribbean people. It's the winery, the wine plantation, because that's what I call it, is owned by Caucasians. And at initially when they began this series of festivals, we were only a part of it twice out of the season. When they realized that we spent money, their entire season is Caribbean now. And it disheartens me to see us spend money, not just Caribbean people, but Black American people spend money on going there. But there are also comparable wine festivals, Caribbean wine festivals that are produced by Caribbean people and we don't go out and support. So it goes so the smallest thing turns into, how I don't know if your grandmother ever tell you pick out one little string and you can unravel the whole thing. And I feel like that's what's happening with the culture. We allow one little string to get picked at and now we're just unraveling because we're not teaching what the meaning behind these. We're not teaching about the characters of Carnival, Mother Sally, that's what we say in Barbados. Um, you and the characters go across the folklore. We're not teaching that, and so it has, as my good friend Aisha said, become commercialized. So it is up to we who know the history to teach the history. So be on the lookout for symposiums. That is the other reason why everything that I do goes back to teaching and honoring my ancestry to the Caribbean. When I teach dance, I'm not just, and I always have bare Americans in mind, but I'm teaching them where it came from, what you're doing. It's not just one thing. You're not just gonna sweat and walk up. You're gonna learn why you're walking up, what the song means, what it's all about. You're gonna learn the culture, and that's what makes what I do stand out. When I do film or stage, I always have a character that represents the Caribbean and shows that aspect of life. When I'm doing music, of course, I'm doing the music of the Caribbean. And I used to do all types of genres of music and can do all types, but I want to give back to my culture. And then even down to, you know, doing music, I found it very hard to get booked. So, and I've been a promoter before, so I was passionate and I teamed up with some people to to bring the culture back to where it started, to make that connectivity, that culture connectivity with Afri Caribbean Festival, bringing a carnival experience to Africa to Freetown, Sierra Leone. So, and the rich history between that particular place and the Caribbean is so long standing and so evident that it's undeniable that it's this is where we come from. So I want us to celebrate that. I want us to understand that there's a connectivity. I want us to understand the struggles of our ancestors and what these celebrations mean, not just to make money and to have fun and to walk up. The freedom that you feel in Carnival is the freedom that your ancestors prayed for and hoped for and died for. So for me, I feel disrespected to see someone whose ancestors did not have that struggle, but was the cause of that struggle, playing job, playing, and specifically playing jive, because not just Juve, because Juve can be other colors. If you want to come and put on some pink and some white and some other thing, that's fine. But the jive part, the molasses, the oil, the blackness, that's we. So when you put that on and you think it's just us jumping up and having fun, you're disrespecting and mocking what we were symbolizing and expressing when we created it. So that is going to be it for the Naked Empress. I'm going to post and I want you to make comments below. I know I got off track a couple of times, but it's okay. We're doing a new thing this year. New year, new thing. I'm gonna do it live. I do it live on IG. I'm doing it live on YouTube. And you can leave your comments and we'll further the conversation and we'll come together and talk about it. We can't do better if we don't be better. And if everybody just complaining and talking about it and don't put something into action, then it'll never happen. So right now we're talking about it. Trust and believe I put things into action. So we're going to have some symposiums and some in-person symposiums here in the DMV talking about the history of Carnival, the history and connectivity between the Caribbean and Africa, and how that coincides with some of the festivals that they do in the fest, and how we've taken the European Carnival and taken it back to where they took it from us pagans. And we've put our own spin on it and put our spirit and our energy in it. And if we continue to strive to do better and continue to resist even Carnival being colonized,